Chapter 9. It's more than just rain or snow. Purpose of weather. Most people see weather as just a form of setting in literature. But other than this, weather can do a lot more. In literature, weather is never just weather. Different things such as rain, snow, rainbows, and fog can all have different meanings. Focus. Weather is never just weather. It's never just rain. This part embodies the chapter as it emphasizes the fact that although weather can be found everywhere in literature, it always has another more symbolic meaning. Yes, weather can represent the setting, but it also shows much more as a character development and creating atmospheric tones. Rain. In literature, water is seen as a cleanser. Rain is used in the same sense. Typically, characters are washed in rain in order to wash away their past and allow for a new beginning. For example, rain may wash over a couple, signaling a reset in their relationship. Rain can also be used to remove a metaphorical stain. The rain is seen as a cleanser that cleanses the character of the flaws or mistakes they have made. And this brings us to the examples that I have. First is in The Great Gatsby. Jay Gatsby and Daisy Buchanan had a previous relationship when they were young, but they were separated. But now they're reunited. During this scene where they were reunited, Gatsby is drenched in the rain, and this symbolizes that he is ready for the past to be washed away and to start a new relationship with Daisy. But in this scene, however, Daisy has an umbrella and she does not get wet. This symbolizes how she is unready to restart with Gatsby. Secondly is this example. In One Tree Hill, Lucas Scott and Brooke Davis are in a rough relationship where she finds notes he wrote to another girl. This causes her to leave his house and run away in the rain. He chases after her and they fight in the rain, but then they make up and kiss. The rain washing over them as they fight symbolizes washing away their relationship's troubled past, and then making up shows that it allows for a new beginning in the both of them. Here is the Gatsby example.
Can't wait all day. I'm leaving. Don't be silly. It's just 2 minutes to 4. No one's coming to tea. It's too... Bleep, bleep. It's her.
That's absolutely where you live, my dearest one.
Yes, it suits me.
Why did I have to come alone? Are you in love with me?
Oh, it's the secret of Caraway Castle. Tell your chauffeur to go far away.
Come back in an hour, Ferdy. His name is Ferdy. Oh. Good. I can't believe it. Ransack agrees. He is in love with me. Would you?
That's funny.
What's funny?
What are you doing?
As you can see in that example, Gatsby gets wet by the rain, showing that he is ready to reset his relationship. But Daisy, on the other hand, has an umbrella, and she does not get wet, and that shows that how later in the movie that she denies Gatsby and does not want to wash away her past with her current husband. In literature, there are also other uses of rain. Other than just symbolizing or resetting characters their relationship, rain can also be used for other reasons. It can be used as a plot device, for example, the weather forcing characters to do something. Also, rain can drastically affect the atmosphere. It can cause a mysterious, isolating feeling while also bringing misery on the characters. Other than rain, there are also other examples of weather. For example, rainbows can symbolize promise and peace. They come after rain, showing that after the rough times, there are good times to come. Fog almost always signals confusion among the characters. It allows them literally to be unable to see while also symbolizing them being blinded by confusion. Snow is very versatile and can mean different things in different situations. It can show purity and cleanliness, warmth as a blanket of snow, playfulness, suffocating, and many other things. Vocab and questions. Disparage. Regard or represent as being of little worth. Verisimilitude. The appearance of being true or real. Question 1. Other than symbolic meaning, what else can rain be used for in literature? The answer is used as a plot device and to create atmosphere. Question 2. What effect does rain have on relationships between characters? It symbolizes a reset in the relationship and allows for a new beginning. Chapter 18. If she comes up, it's baptism. What is baptism? Baptism is the practice in Christianity where one is submerged into water and taken out, representing them being reborn into the name of God and also signaling a change in their life. In literature, this practice is also common. Characters be submerged in water in the story and come out reborn. This rebirth is similar to Christian practices, as it is a symbolic rebirth. These characters come out of the water living a different life than they originally were and are cleansed of their past. This is similar to the idea of rain cleansing one's past. However, rain lacks the idea of submersion and does not emphasize being reborn. In the chapter, the author gives an example from the novel Ordinary People. In this novel, Conrad and his strong older brother go sailing in the storm, and the storm crashes their boat. The older, stronger brother dies in the water while the younger, weaker brother comes out. After this, Conrad's life has changed as he is now the strong one due to him living. His life completely changed when he was submerged into the water, and he came out reborn into a new life. This example of the chapter leads into the focus. The focus is he's not just alive, he's alive all over again. Not only should he have died out in that storm, we can say he did die. That the Conrad we meet in the book is not the same Conrad we would have met before the storm. This part exemplifies the chapter as it perfectly explains the idea of baptism in literature. His old life died in the water, and he was reborn into a new one once he had merged. This process of one's old self dying in the water and then being reborn into a new life once emerged is common in literature. And this brings us to the examples. The first example is from Shawshank Redemption. Andy Dufresne is wrongfully put in prison for murders he did not commit. While in prison for 19 years, he slowly plots his escape. After crawling through his escape tunnel, Andy falls into the water and comes out. This symbolizes him being metaphorically baptized. He falls in the water and then comes out, and him coming out symbolizes him being reborn into a free life. Next is Castaway. FedEx worker Chuck Nolan is on a plane to Malaysia when it crashes in the Pacific Ocean. He's the only one to survive the crash into the ocean and washes ashore on a deserted island. Him crashing into the water and coming out is symbolic baptism because prior to this submersion, he lived a completely different life than what he had to live once he was out. His submersion rebirthed him into a lifestyle of survival, completely different than what he lived prior to this.
kinds of shit-smelling foulness I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to. 500 yards. That's the length of 5 football fields. Just shy of half a mile.
In that example, you see Andy escapes prison through a disgusting tunnel and then falls out into the water and gets cleansed. This cleansing and symbolic baptism represents him washing away his old life and being reborn into a free life. Drowning in literature can also have similar meanings to baptism. While also being literal in death, it can symbolize the washing away of a past life. While baptism emphasizes on the symbolic rebirth, drowning emphasizes more on the death of their old life and it being washed away. Drowning in literature, however, tends to have more depth to be analyzed than baptism does. While all symbolic baptisms seem to have the same purpose and meaning, which is rebirth and new life, every drowning has different purposes, such as affecting the plot with the death, acting as thematic development, and much more. Also, the method of which the character drowns must be analyzed as well. Do they drown themselves, are they killed, or any other reasons? Example from the chapter. The author from this book also uses an example from the novel Love Medicine. In this, a Vietnam veteran who suffers from PTSD named Henry Jr. Drowns himself. At face value, this seems like just an act of suicide. However, symbolically, it is much more. Since coming back from the war, Henry Jr. has been drowning in a miserable life and has lost control of it. By him drowning himself, he is taking back control. In reality, all that happens is he drowns himself due to his low quality of life. But symbolically, he elects to go in himself, showing he is taking his own means to wash away his past life. By killing Henry, it also kills off his miserable past. This example of Henry Jr. shows the difference between drowning and baptism well. While the drowning does have similar aspects to the baptism, such as washing away the old, it also brings up many key differences. Other than drastically affecting the plot far more than a baptism would, the drowning in this case emphasizes more on the death of the person's life, both symbolic and literally, rather than emphasizing on the rebirth. Vocab and questions. Denouement. The final part of a play or movie or narrative in which the strands of the plot are drawn together and matters are explained or resolved. Revelation. A surprising and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made in a dramatic way. What about drowning is similar and different to a baptism in literature? Similar, both symbolize washing away old life. Different, drowning has less to do with rebirth and more plot implications, such as character revelation, denouement, etc. Although baptism and rain can both have similar purifying cleansing effects with water, what differentiates the two? Baptism emphasizes on the submersion in water. And that's it. And here's my poster board.